Good morning. Welcome to Accuracy America. I'm Don Irvine once again. All right, plenty of news out there, but I'm just going to focus on a few things. So we just heard, just before I got on here, that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to send the article of impeachment uh, from the House to the Senate on Monday, which means that the Senate will have to then act on it. And that could mean a trial beginning as early as Monday. It also means some problematic issues for the Biden administration. As the Senate will, if that goes forth, they will then have to actually meet for something like 6 days. I mean, they have to be in session for 6 days in a row. They're going to be, having to go through testimony and all these kinds of things back and forth, presenting evidence and having witnesses and all of this. And what that'll do is that the Senate is still not finished confirming Biden's cabinet appointees. They've got a few that they have managed to do, but now that gives them basically no time to do that at all. I'm not quite sure, I don't think anybody really knows definitively what the Senate will do come Monday, but it's going to muck up the Biden agenda for temporarily, potentially as a result of this. Now, Mitch McConnell, who will be the minority leader, is now the minority leader. He has proposed that to postpone this until February and then give Trump a couple of weeks to put together a defense. Now, there are a lot of other questions, and I'm not an attorney, and maybe some constitutional attorney can stick their nose in here somewhere and ask and tell us, is it even constitutional for the Senate to move forward with an impeachment to remove the president from an office that he has already left, right? But what is the real goal here? Now that the president has left, I mean, the impeachment, the second impeachment, just as much as the first impeachment, was a complete sham and utter nonsense, right? Doing it just days before the president left office. On top of that, now he's now left office, and they want to, really ban him from ever holding office again. That's a simple majority vote if they get to that point. Can they convict him? They need 17 Republican senators to defect. I think they have the usual suspects potentially, the Murkowski, Collins, Romney trio is a potential, because they see no pain in this and no blowback to this at all. But I don't think that they don't get anywhere close to 17. So the conviction is off the table. So what are we doing here? Why are we mucking? Why are we just dealing with something from a previous administration that was on a trumped up charge to begin with, and nothing but a political vendetta on the part of the Democrats? They have no outright evidence that President Trump incited a riot. You have people who say, even Mitch McConnell said he may have provoked it, but I mean, provoking versus inciting, and there's evidence that he even provoked them to do anything. And who are these people? They are being arrested, they're being charged. Those are the people who should be held accountable. Did President Trump do himself a favor, with all of this? No, absolutely not. You have to be honest, I think, about it. But nevertheless, he's not guilty of the charges that that Congress leveled against him. And shame on those Republicans who voted with the majority to impeach him. I guess they were voting their conscience, but they're also realizing that Trump is out of office and what is going to be his power, so that they don't have to actually kowtow to him either. So there's a lot of political calculation in the part of even the Republicans who joined in on this. So there's a lot to unpack there with the impeachment process and what is going on here. But this country, I thought this country wanted to move forward. I thought that Joe Biden said, we want unity. We've got to come together. An impeachment trial will not bring the country together. This is a time where you're going to dredge up all of these things. You could be, dealing with these things for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it takes. I don't know, for this trial to go forth. And does the country really need to be, focused on that when there's other business at hand? We have a brand new president. If I'm Joe Biden, I mean, realistically, you just need to tell Chuck Schumer and everybody says, like, we're not going to even bring it up. Okay, we're not going to the trial phase or whatever. It's not it. We're not going to do it. It's done. We're closing it. We're closing the case, and we're moving on. That would be the thing to do. And I would say the same thing if it was a Republican in charge and it had been a Democrat, been charged with the same specious charges that President Trump has been given, was charged with. So The Democrats did their dirty work and their damage to President Trump. The only president who's ever been impeached twice, the only president who's had 10 party members defect and vote for his impeachment, those types of things. Those will be part of the stain on his legacy that he will not be able to undo. Right. So that is that. The facts are the facts. Okay. So we have this vaccine rollout, right? So do you remember Joe Biden? He's been touting this 100 million vaccinations in 100 days, his first 100 days, because there's eyes are always on the president. The first 100 days of when somebody comes into an office is the president, the governor, that kind of thing, right? So, but here's the thing. We are at, as of the 7-day rolling average, according to the Bloomberg vaccination, tracker, was that, the 7-day rolling average was 912,497. On Wednesday, we had 1.6 million vaccines administered. So we were already close or above the target level per day to reach 100 million in 100 days. So AP, Associated Press reporter Zeke Miller, during this presser or whatever event at the Oval Office with Joe Biden, President Biden, when Biden was talking about this, Zeke Miller asked the question. He says, well, isn't that target a little bit too low, seeing where we're already at? And he says, oh, come on, man, give me a break. We're, 100 million is a pretty good number. So that just brushed that off. About an hour or so later, Jen Psaki, who's the White House press secretary, was talking about this, and Zeke Miller brought this up, and he pressed even harder. He brought the question back up again and said, isn't that target too low? Psaki comes out and she says, well, we're not mathematicians here, but we had our team look at it, and in those 38 days of the Trump administration, they had 36 million doses of the vaccine. They administered 17 million. It's less than 500,000 a day. Right? We're out to double that. Okay. Is she really sticking to this goal? Is she really sticking to this whole thing? Okay. First of all, the Trump administration, you get the doses. You have to start rolling this out. Has anybody ever? Can you get to $1 million or even $750,000? 750,000 vaccinations right off the get-go. So the 500,000 or thereabout number, that was the average for that 38-day period, right? But remember what I just said, 912,500 vaccines on the 7-day rolling average and 1.6 million doses administered on Wednesday. Those are numbers that are right there. I mean, that the Biden administration can easily, the 100 million in 100 days can easily be exceeded if we're at, say, 1.2, 1.3, if we stay at those levels or even get to 1.6, it'll go very, very fast, right? So that would be a very low bar, and Miller was like, look, considering where we are in this crisis, why can't we raise this number? But the White House seems to be adamant that 100 million, 100 days, it's kind of that's their little, they think it's a fancy thing. 100 million, 100 days, it's kind of catchy, gives us a goal, it's a big number, something we can check off the box for the first 100 days. But what if it's a goal that was already baked into the cake? Right? I mean, if he takes office and you're already at 900,000+ a day, you're saying we're going to administer maybe 100,000 more a day on the average than we have been doing to get there. That's not a huge leap. That's a 10% increase, right? Less than 10% increase at 912, right? So, this is kind of, they're trying to do apples and oranges. They're trying to get around here. The idea, just the idea that Joe Biden here, come on, man, give me a break. He's telling that to the press. Biden has had this little bit of a thin skin issue, and he showed it already in day 2, right, of his administration of doing that. So watch out. If he's already done that within the first day and a half or so of his administration, just wait. Well, we've got a long way to go here, folks. We've got 4 years, just under 4 years left to go in his administration. This could be a far more interesting with the press than I would have imagined it to be, just by the way it's already started out on this particular issue. All right, so now on the media, so this Edelman Trust Index has come out, shared with Axios, and it shows that for them on their reports, it is the trust in the media by the public that they surveyed is at the lowest point ever, all time. All right, it's at 46%. And what do we have on here? We have 56% of those that were polled said that they think the media purposely, misleads the public, right? 58% of them thinks that most news organizations support a particular ideology to get a political point across, right, and not report the news. Basically, there's a majority of the public is saying we don't trust the media because we think they are misleading. I mean, I think the effect that President Trump had on going after fake news has come home to roost here. People definitely are thinking that they're becoming very distrustful of the news. I think the addition of the battle where social media has deplatformed President Trump and took away his access to Facebook and Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, all of these things, Instagram, all of that has also had an effect, a chilling effect, as they would say, on the outlook and the trust level of the media. So if I'm a member, of the press corps, the regular press corps, I'm beginning to wonder. He's like, the public doesn't trust you. I mean, the Jim Acostas of the world did not help the overall, trust level of the news media, right? So there they are, heading right at the beginning of the Biden administration. We're already seeing that. And then after the election, they went back and they polled again, and the trust level on a party basis was 57% for the Democrats, 18% for Republicans. 57% for the Democrats. Okay, we're talking about the liberal media here. This number should be 75, 80%. That would be the norm, in an environment, with a liberal media environment. So I find that to be pretty telling when you have 57% of Democrats say that they trust the media, just 57. That's not a heck of a lot over the 50%, the majority threshold. And if they keep going at this rate, I mean, you could actually see, a majority of the Democrats not trusting the media. That would really be shocking. All right. And then finally, there was a story in the Washington Post, which I thought was just amusing, but telling for the times. There is a bust of Cesar Chavez in the Oval Office. Part of the makeover of President Biden is now he has now got the labor leader, the lefty, the communist in his office, front and center, as a bust, as a monument. So that ought to make the squad really, really happy, and Bernie Sanders really happy that there's that. I mean, but I'm just waiting to say, it's like, what's going to come next? Stalin, Lenin, Marx. Why not? I mean, you might as well throw them all in there at this stage, for heaven's sakes. Forget about Winston Churchill and George Washington, any of the great leaders of the world, in history. But let's go ahead and give it to the lefty commie side of the ledger. All right. Thank you for joining me today. As always, please stay safe and stay well. Remember, we live in the greatest country in the world. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. And I guess I'm going to throw one more thing in before I close, which is just the divide in this country, I should say. You can just see it on social media. I posed some questions, one being, which is that, like it or not, Joe Biden is the president. I had a lot of reaction, so much so for me that I just stopped reading the reaction. A lot of them were just not. Some others were questioning my conservatism, patriotism, and whatnot. My wife said that some people, were threatening to unfriend me. I checked my count, and it is down a little bit, but that just gives me space for other people who I would probably prefer to interact with anyway. So I'm not exactly saddened by that at all. But there's some thin skin out there. Country definitely is divided amongst conservatives. If you express your opinion and it doesn't fit the mindset of a certain group of people, you know what's going to happen. All right. Anyway, enough of that. Onward and upward and onward, whatever. Have a great weekend wherever you are. And God bless America. See you on Monday.